Criteria for planning integration. There's two criteria. Let's talk about the authors first, Brophy and Alleman. Two of them. Two criteria must be met for appropriate integration. One, activity should be educationally significant. Even if the activity does not include an integration feature, the activity needs to be educationally significant. Number two, activities should foster rather than disrupt or nullify accomplishments of major goals in each of the subject areas. It needs to be a supplement to the original lesson plan and original objective. Integration games and activities can and should happen in all subject areas. Yes, that means language arts, you can act things out. Math, they can make numbers with their bodies and they can use their fingers. I know using your fingers is kind of going backwards, but using their hands and fingers to do different things. Geography and social studies, visual and performing arts, science, anatomy and physiology, health and nutrition, and environment and nature are all areas that you can integrate into PE. Using multiple intelligences, and this is from Gardner in 1983, it's not how smart you are, that's how you are smart. I love this one because it essentially is asking all of us to bring out the MacGyver in every one of your students. I want you to try saying this one 3 times fast. Bodily kinesthetic intelligence is the ability to control one's bodily motions and handle objects skillfully, and that would be called body smart. This can be the kid who's a soccer player and can dribble the ball up in the air using just his feet, or a kid who can juggle. Here's another one. Try to say 3 times fast. Linguistic intelligence is the ability to use language in different forms: speech, reading, and writing. That's what we would call word smart. So, some kids have a natural ability to pick up language, foreign languages, and that's where this comes from. They can use them in different language and form and different languages. More Gardner from 1983. Here's another tongue twister for you. Logical mathematical intelligence. Logical mathematical intelligence is the ability to effectively use numbers, see patterns, see things from a logical point of view. Call that math smart. Musical intelligence is the ability to use the core set of musical elements, pitch, rhythm, and timbre, and that makes you music smart, using it in different and creative and intelligent ways. Pretty cool when you see a kid that's able to do that. With Gardner, the ideas keep coming. And the more tongue twisters she has along with it. Spatial intelligence. Spatial intelligence is the ability to create a graphic likeness of spatial information. Art smart. Naturalist intelligence is the ability to understand, relate to, categorize, classify, and explain the things encountered in the world of nature. Nature smart. Interpersonal intelligence is the ability to notice and make distinctions among other individuals, and in particular among their moods, temperaments, motivations, and intentions. They call that people smart. Interpersonal intelligence is the ability to notice and to make distinctions among other individuals, and in particular among their moods, temperaments, motivations, and intentions. That's people smart. Intrapersonal intelligence is the ability to form an accurate model of oneself. Self-smart. Just think, if you were able to define each of the intelligences in each of your students and group them by each different category, so each one of the intelligences that Gardner came up with, you just put all those kids into one group. Or a group with one person from each of those categories and put them in a group. How powerful of a product could each group produce? What could they come up with? That seems extremely powerful and amazing to me. I think pretty amazing, I really do. That would be an awesome use of multiple intelligences and integration. Integrating themes. This is an example using the Olympics. Math Olympics. You can have math. You can have multiplication games. You can have subtraction games, division, all kinds of different aspects of math and turn that into a game. Olympic history, same thing. Take different parts of your history unit, make a game out of it. Social studies, a language arts Olympics, Olympic science, Olympic sign language, Olympic foreign language, Olympic art. You can actually do a whole unit on the different artwork that they have for each Olympic Games. Olympic music and drama. If you haven't ever watched the opening and closing ceremonies, there's a whole lot of information there that you could pull from. And Olympic physical education. You can move away from the different Olympic sports and create your own sports and have your students participate in that. Pretty cool idea. Designing theme units in subject areas. Theme units can provide a means of integration between subjects. Integration activities are conducive to teaching throughout the multiple intelligences. Okay, I'm going to give you a little more help on this one than usual. With a thematic unit, since I like U.S. history, we'll pick colonial times. When you're thinking of a thematic unit and you're looking at your students, what games did kids play at that time? Or did they actually play? Did they just go out and work and help the family? That's something that the kids could get into to research. What did they eat? Were they vegetarians? Did they eat meat all the time? What did their meals look like? How did the regular folks live? The average run-of-the-mill person, what do they do to subsist? What do the upper class people do? You know, the Benjamin Franklin, so to speak, of the world, of the colonial times. How did people cook? Did they have a stove? Did they have an open pit fire? There's different ways to cook with whatever means that you have. What did that average person and the upper class do to do that? How did the creation, I shouldn't say how, what did the creation of a turkey dinner with all the trimmings really entail? So if you started from zero, what did they have to do to get that turkey dinner? Well, to start with, they had to hunt down a turkey. And not even talking about the preparation of all the vegetables and all the other things, the trimmings part, and how they put all those things together. Interesting thematic unit, just a little idea for you, and you can steal my ideas. Integrative games and activities. One of my favorite interactive games, and I do this at the middle school all the time, is Making Me Dinner. It's a relay style game where students have to collect different items of food and a protein. To win, you must collect all the items necessary for dinner. So you have a protein, and we actually have a figure that looks like a fish and a cow and a pig. I even use a smiley face dot, and I had to think for a minute. I use that yellow dot and I call it tofu as a protein. So you can get them all in there. And I use different color items. I normally use small cones, different colors, and tell them each color is a different vegetable. And they have to decide all that up. And the way they win is they have to tell me what their meal includes. And then I normally get 5 or 6 rounds in a period, and kids kind of have fun. Makes that little integration a little bit nicer, and you sneak in the exercise. The importance of active learning. Active learning has proven its effectiveness over time. You can tell we have research all the way back from the 80s, and it's held out consistent all the way up to the 20 teens. Inota MI Academy. Multiple intelligences thrive in Smartville. At the Inota Multiple Intelligences Academy in Gainesville, Georgia, students know exactly how smart they are. Pause the presentation and watch the video on Multiple Intelligences Academy in Georgia, and you can find that in the Week 7 folder. Cultural integration, different cultures. Games from different cultures provide a rich history of how children from other places and other peoples play together. Studying and learning games from other cultures teaches students that all cultures are valued and they can learn from all cultures. And you'll be doing an international games project here in a second. This is just part of your explanation, but you're going to be working with cultural and academic integration for an international games project. You have your pick of any game. The more out there, the better. So do your research on the game, submit an interactive newsletter, and you will be making a video with this. So here are all your criteria here on the screen, and you'll be at the end, you will be doing a video explaining your newsletter and a 20 to 30 second promotional video for your international game. So I think it should be pretty cool and pretty fun for you. Here are some examples. But before you get to the examples, all this information again is in Blackboard in Week 7. International game. Here are some samples. Bocce, Rayula, cricket, curling, rugby, Loerda, Highlight, korfball, nine-men Morris, sumo, orienteering, mamubi, mahjong, taninkling, sepak takraw, shavhapeni, dopreah game, croquet, snooker, lacrosse. This is just a small snippet of international games. Again, you can get as creative as you want. You can get as out there as you want. And the more out there, the better. And it'll bring all of us a little bit closer to another culture and an understanding of that culture. Good luck. And again, more details in Blackboard. And remember, I heart PE. And the biggest thing, have courage because you can do this.